Good morning class, welcome to your daily current affairs on paper Hindu. So I have shared you one particular link of a telegram channel of Srinath sirs. So your current affairs, whatever I am teaching here, before the class itself it will be updated in that particular channel. So if at all you have to download it, you can subscribe to that so that you will be able to download your Hindu paper with marked current affairs, okay. So it will be easy for me to communicate with you on what are the current affairs that I am going to discuss today. On prayer itself you will be able to see. Yeah, good morning Ramchandra, good morning Rahul, Parameshwar. So I hope there is not an issue for you. So you can just subscribe to that. Even today's newspaper is also being updated. So for you no need to download your e-paper too. I will be providing it. So in that nation news itself is important. We will be doing with our AP paper. But yeah, nation news itself we are discussing, so no problem. Fine. So yeah, one of the students have asked me what is actual difference between the old pension scheme and the new pension scheme. So for that I will be giving you what is actually difference between the new pension scheme and old pension scheme, NPS and OPS. Why people are showing concerns, why some people are asking that no we don't want to have NPS, we will go for OPS. Why they are mentioning, what is a major concern, that topic we will be seeing today. Okay, after that we will go to today's daily current affairs. So yeah. So through old pension scheme, before, yeah, okay, thank you ma'am, great. So I may not be providing you PDFs, right? That is why I thought of sharing you that particular channel of Telegram so that you can download there earlier itself. Fine. If you can see this particular article, you're under OPS, that means under the old pension scheme, the retired employees receive 50% of their last drawn salary as monthly pensions. For suppose if my monthly income was 30,000. So from the organized sector, especially from the government sector, if I am, or any other sector which is organized, okay. So from that if I am earning around 30,000 per month, my pension salary after 58, after 60 based on the state, after that my amount that I receive is half of my drawn salary. That means if I was drawing 30,000 when I was in job, I will be getting 15,000 per month standard income. So here the main thing is your income security. You need to understand. So through old pension scheme, the burden of giving you pensions would be completely reliable on the particular government. So as a government, it is on my head that I should be giving you pension of half of the salary, irrespective of the market scenario, irrespective of the any financial crisis, it is on my head. And in addition to this, so OPS and your NPS. So one question I think Ramchandra you have asked that whether they have to draw it on a monthly basis or an annual basis. So it doesn't depend on that, as per the wish of that particular subscriber. So if I am a retiree, it is upon my head that whether I can take the amount fully or not. So it is regarding your NPS. That flexibility is there with NPS, and in your OPS you will be bound to get half of the amount of your pension. Okay. So it doesn't actually much matter about it. So here when it comes to your OPS scheme, what is the thing that is mentioned is that, see, 50% of your amount will be given. So let's assume my salary is 30,000, amount that is receivable through pension of OPS is 15,000 per month, and the burden is on government irrespective of the market scenario. And in addition to this, I will be getting my dearness allowance, DA. So what is this DA? So once I am getting retired, or not only retired, in any organized sector, every year there will be this dearness allowance, and currently government is offering this dearness, sorry just a moment, this dearness allowance twice a year, 2 times, once in Jan, once in July. So what is this dearness allowance? To what we can say, for inflation, to contradict this inflation and to lessen the impact of this inflation, this dearness allowance will be given. So it is the amount that is given as an allowance so that it will compensate the impact of inflation. Understood? So suppose let's say the inflation is 4% this year. So my dearness allowance will be given 4% for me, so that the amount, the actual effective amount will not be reduced. So it is not something which is fixed. If you could have seen your environment, is it clear? I hope it is not blurred, right? Fine. So here the issue is that the effective salary because of the growing inflation would be less. So small concept here again about inflation. If you would have seen your economy classes, it would be clear, which is currently going on. If not, you can subscribe for that, fine. So through inflation, every year there will be certain kinds of inflation targeting. What is inflation? Price rise. Every year this inflation price rise will be there, and suppose if I get 10 kgs, let's say, not 10, okay fine, 10 kgs of apple or any fruit for 100 rupees, of course, ideally I get only 1 kg, hypothetical situation. Let's say for 100 rupees, because of, let's say, inflation is 6% that next year. So I have to pay 106 rupees to get same amount of quantity, same quantity to get, I have to pay. So here the 6% is the inflation which is lessening the effective value of my rupee. Are you able to understand? The rupee value will be reduced because of this growing inflation. To compensate this, dearness allowance will be given. Understood? This is restricted to your government sector, all organized sectors. So this beneficiaries will be given to pensioners too. So currently your old pension scheme gives you your amount. With this, you will be getting your dearness allowance. So let's say 4% was your inflation in that particular year. So that is the amount that they have told, government told that we will be giving you 4% DA. Now because of 4% DA, let's say I am getting 15,000 as my income of pension. Now what is 4% here? So 1% is 150, right? So 150 into 4, how much is it? 2000, right? Is it 2000? 15 fours, 20, 6,000, huh? How much is it? 600, right? So 600 is my amount. So with this, additionally, how much I get for the next year if the inflation is 4%, that means if the dearness allowance allocated is 4%, then the amount that as a pensioner I would receive 15,600 rupees. Are you able to understand? So that will be my receiving pension towards OPS. Advantages of OPS is that first thing, I will be getting my income security. So continuously I will be having my income security, fine, and my dearness allowance inflation will also be targeted. And the criticism or the issue as part of administration is it is completely on the burden of government, irrespective of the cuttings gone from employer and employee. Here the burden of issuing of your pensions is completely reliable on government. Coming to your new pension scheme. Now whatever I told, here you have, see, NPS is a contributory pension scheme where you have employees to contribute 10%. So coming to your NPS, what is the difference? New pensioner scheme, the contributory pension around employees contribute 10% of their salary, basic plus dearness allowance. So in this they will be contributing 10%, whereas the government will contribute 14% towards employees NPS. Are you able to understand? So that amount can be very much less too. Yesterday when I was calculating, I told 1250 rupees can also be your contribution. So now because of this level of contribution, whatever you have contributed, for that they will be investing into different funds. So now your NPS is dependent on market driven. Whatever the amount that is being given by the pensioners, that will be invested into 3 types of funds. So 3 types of funds, I will show you what are those funds. Here, see, first type of fund will be safe and conservative, in that you can allow up to 10% of investment. Next, balanced or moderate equity, where 30% of your funds can be invested. Next, 50% on aggressive funds. So what are these funds? Aggressive in the sense, your whatever the amount that you are investing, the amount which you invested would be earning high or extremely low. Whereas safe sided one, definitely there will be certain kinds of increment that can be around less in numbers, in single numbers only. So let's say for safe or aggregate one, it will be around 2 to, not 2, but yeah, maximum around 6% you can expect, 6 to 8% or something like that. So less than in single numbers, then moderate will be around 10 to 12% in similar ways. Every year these kind of percentages will change. However, aggressive is the one which will impact more. That means either you get high or extremely low. In these three different kinds of funds you can invest. With that, rest of the amount, for you, if you can see, 10% is invested here, up to 10%. It's up to the particular pensioner. So it's if I am the pensioner, I am the receiver pensioner, it's up to me to choose in which I have to invest upon. So 10%, 30% and 50%. How much is this? Totally 90%, and remaining 10% will be invested into corporate bonds and government securities. So now you need to understand, they will invest into this, whatever the income that you are earning from this, that will be given as your pension. Now here two scenarios. If I reap high, then my pension will be more, and whatever the amount of pension that I am able to receive, that will be distributed till the moment I die, and after I am dying, my spouse will also be getting my beneficiary if any amount is left in my PF account. Right? Now the issue is this, see the negative end. Let's say the market output is not more and I am contributing less. Now will I have my security? Through OPS scheme I can get exactly half of my amount, irrespective of the market scenario, and also additionally I will get my dearness allowance. What about NPS? Here government contribution will be there, my contribution will be there, employer contribution will be there. Irrespective of this, what is the issue? Main thing, it is market driven. So now they have asked that. Now if you can see the example which they have mentioned here too, here they have added, they have assumed that total the pension, let's say the amount of that particular person is 10,000. So pension settled through OPS is 5,000. Let's say dearness allowance is 4%. Then the total amount would be 5,200 per month fixed and burden on government. Coming to your NPS, it is dependent on your amount of contribution made, age of joining. Suppose if I opt now, what is my contribution? Contributional years. Yesterday I have told what is the calculation of NPS. So your percentage of basic salary that you are spending upon contribution years divided by your longevity, age longevity, which is 70 years. So that is how they will be calculating your NPS. So now here, where is this? NPS, just a moment. NPS example is there. See, for instance, in NPS, let's say he has retired for working of 13 years. Now, he receives only 15% of the assumed pension. Only 15% will be received. So, would have gotten through OPS, under NPS the official would be paying 30,000. So, let's say basic pay is 30,000 and he would receive based on that 8.33 calculation and all, 2,417 would be based on the market scenarios. This would be his level of income. But if he would have chosen a OPS scheme, what would be his level of income? At least half of it, no? 15,250 rupees would have been received. So, that is where they are questioning. So, that is why people are asking, because of this extreme end, good morning Burhan, extreme end, let us go for the old one. And some people are hugely positive about it and not completely negative, right? If they are really interested, if they are spending more, and the market scenarios if you see in India, definitely it will be hiking up. And your upper cap of amount was fixed to 15,000. So you can give your cutoff more, right, to earn more at the end. So this level of investment, even if I die, will be continuing. So NPS has its own advantages, OPS has its own advantages. Now people can opt, there was one time link where they can opt for the old one or the new one for people after 2014. Now is it clear? I hope it's clear. Let me go for your today's current affairs. So just go through this article. This is from Wire. For more details, just go from this article. It has explained clearly what is actual scenario. So you can go through this article if you want. So this article heading is about OPS versus NPS. So why has RBI cautious states against the old pension scheme? Because the government will have the burden. So that is what RBI has cautioned. So just go through the article, it will be clear. Let me go with today's articles. It's been half an hour that I started, great, fine. I'm going with only UPSC related articles. Let me go with, yes. India and France have a mature partnership, French Consul General. So now, with France, we have a partnership, that is why, and France is one country with whom we have highest trade relationship in European Union. So, it has been already mentioned, I don't know where it is, fine. So, currently, yeah, there is one particular operation that is going on where France and India have been friends definitely since India's independence, and it is a mature relationship, says this particular person who is a consultant or consul general of France in Pondicherry and Chennai. So, currently this particular ship, this particular helicopter carrier of France, which is called Dixmude, and this particular operation. So, let me be clearly, Jeanne d'Arc or Jeanne d'Arc is a particular mission which will be traveling in, or a particular this aircraft or not navy ship. So, this will be contributing certain, it will have certain people of navy from France. They will be traveling in the Indo-Pacific region, so in the Indian Ocean Pacific region, and these people will be trained in different scenarios. So, currently this ship was stopped or halted in India. So, now what is the issue here? Not issue, but yeah, what is current affair? So, talking about the media, talking to the media in Kochi, where the French task group, so that is a task group on a circumnavigation of the globe, has been named as Jeanne d'Arc mission, is having a stopover. So, it has been halted in Kochi for now. And what is this ship comprising of? It has their own 120 soldiers from French army, and who is heading it? Captain, so carrier Dixmude. He is under his leadership, this particular d'Arc mission is being going on. So, currently what it is being working on is that it would undertake humanitarian assistance and disaster relief exercise. So, these people will be getting trained. So, currently their focus is on how to do humanitarian assistance, especially during disaster management, and see disaster relief exercises in such kind of issues, how they have to respond. So, they are being trained that, and it is named as Fringex 23. Fringex 23. And after this, they are also planning to have combined military exercise. See, a joint exercise. What is its name? La Perros. Important for your prelims. Direct question can be asked. La Perros, and the countries which are involving into this is your US, Japanese, Australian navies. So, 3 countries will be including into this particular task, and it will be a joint exercise, yeah, and here India is also a part of it. So, India, US, Japan and Australian navies will be mentioned. Okay, thank you Ramchandra, fine. So, these people will be jointly having an exercise which is your La Perros. So, remember those countries can be directly asked in your prelims, okay, fine. This is as part of your GS3 again, not international relations, not GS3, but yeah. And here in editorials part, I would like to make you see this particular article, important, with Germany, and there is another article which showed about your anti-defection in clearly what is currently happening, because recently I have mentioned one article where, and earlier I have just told you one thing, which is France is one of the highest trade partner. No, Germany is your highest trade partner in EU with India, largest trade partner, which is mentioned in this particular article. This is important, and this particular article I really suggest you to watch, to go through this. It is completely about the defection scenario, how it has started from the beginning to till now, till the Maharashtra issue. Okay, it is clearly mentioned. I suggest you to go through this article. So, in that particular channel we have updated this, so you can just go through that and understand it in a better way. Next, Rushikulya Sands team with olive ridleys. So, this olive ridleys turtles, and currently they are laying eggs in this particular place in Odisha. Okay, environment part. So, nearly 6.37 olive ridley turtles have been arrived for mass nesting in the country in place of Gujarat, their beach in Ganjam districts of, not Gujarat, Odisha, in Ganjam district of Odisha. Okay. So, the arrival of, they have given the time period, rest all not required, just understand that it is olive ridley turtles which are on a mass laying near the beach of Ganjam in Ganjam districts of Odisha, and who are taking this research is Geological Survey of India. So they are trying to tag everything, continue tagging of these particular olive, Ridleys, turtles. They were here in different places. Okay, just informative article regarding olive Ridleys, turtles. Fine. Next. Another article, internal security, also your things, fine. So, colonies of GS1 paper, important. Indian society too. Colonies of displaced POK residents to be regularized. So, during the post-independence, people have been, especially during the partition with Pakistan, people from Pakistan, they've migrated to India. At the same time, Indians who wanted to live with Pakistan, they've migrated. So, these people got settled in and around in the northwestern region, especially in Jammu and Kashmir. Even now, we have this tussle there. So, currently, and they have been issued voting rights. So, whoever the people, they have occupied these colonies as refugees, they've been given citizenship and equal voting rights in 2019. So, they have given these rights. Now, steps are being taken so that whatever their colonies are there, they will be regularized. So, they will be taken into consideration. Great. So, they will be regularized, they will be having all these voting patterns, they will be tracking whoever are the people available from Pakistan who have settled here, that is all. Regularizing these people. That is about this article. So, yeah, told who? Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha of Jammu and Kashmir while inaugurating a special governance camp in displaced different persons. Okay. He told that we will be regularizing it, that is all, nothing more than that in that article. Next. Yes. Center gives nod for states to authenticate Aadhaar for prisoners. So, now prisoners will be there. They also have certain kinds of rights. So, they have their right to life. They can claim their own, suppose if they wanted to meet their relatives, or they have to go for opting for legal aid. They are not having such kind of monetary, like they don't have amount to pay for people for getting legal aid. So, they can go for free legal aid. For all these things, they should have certain kinds of authentication through Aadhaar. If they are staying in prison, how will their Aadhaar card be authenticated? For that, this article. So, they have mentioned that the exercise will be undertaken for inmates on a voluntary basis. Another thing, on a voluntary basis to ease extension of benefits such as health schemes, occasional training. Now, if a prisoner is there and he wanted to get trained, so that after getting out of his imprisonment, he need to earn something. So, certain occasional training will be there. They have to earn. Even in the prisons, they have to earn something. For that, they will be given vocational training too. Just a moment. Fine. So, as part of that, Aadhaar will be given as an authentication. It is extending benefits if that Aadhaar. So, based on that Aadhaar, what is authentication? So, if this is the person enrolled for this, so it is kind of tracking mechanism again. So, if they are giving such kind of facilities, what would happen? They will be getting benefits like meeting their relatives, legal aid, all these will be there. But another thing that ministry has mentioned, so who is this ministry? Home Ministry. Union Home Ministry has mentioned that this will be done in a voluntary basis. So, it is under the hands of states as well as prisoners to take this decision for authentication. Why? Because because prisoners or prison is a state subject. So, in your schedule 7, it is clearly mentioned about division of different subjects. So, you have union or central list, state list and residuary list. So, currently or concurrent list, not residuary, concurrent list. So, currently prison is a state subject. So, it is under the ambient of state. So, that is why they have mentioned that we will be having a voluntary basis where they can get these aids, and they have also mentioned different Aadhaar based rules. So, he has mentioned that the notifications would have authorized by the union government to notify under Rule 5 of Aadhaar authentication for good governance. So, through this they have given such provisions. So, Aadhaar authentication for good governance, social welfare innovation knowledge rules 2020 and the Aadhaar targeted delivery of financial and other subsidies benefits. First, suppose the prisoner is being released tomorrow. He needs to get benefited. If he is from the vulnerable section, then how can he be benefited? He should also be in that list, right? of people of weaker sections or any other places where he is eligible enough, he or she is eligible enough. So for that they are using these particular acts in which they will be given different kinds of facilities. They can also ask for production before the court or return to prison. For all these things, day to day business also they will be able to track this business. Okay. So Aadhaar authentication. Next. This is again important article. Governance only, that is also for as part of governance. So here railways ties with ISRO for train tracking. Now technology wise, SNT important, again governance important. Railways, Indian Railways have consulted ISRO to provide their navigation services, tracking mechanism. So we have Navik, navigation with Indian constellation developed by ISRO, and Bhuvan. All these are the navigation satellite system which are web-based utility which allows user to explore a map-based content being developed or deployed for tracking. So for tracking of real-time information, what are the seats, suppose I have my PNR number, is my particular seat is confirmed or not, where the train is actually available. Now what they are trying to do is they are trying to combine this particular technology with AI, artificial intelligence. They have also planned for that. See, 90 cases where AI can be used. So they have come up with a plan that they have identified where they can introduce this particular artificial intelligence into railways tracking mechanism. So they have identified 90 places where they can use AI, especially for improving railway services like seat allocation, prediction analysis, freight trains will be emptied, when it will be emptied, then balancing stocks of medicines across health infrastructure. In all these places they have identified 90 places where they are trying to use the existing technologies of ISRO and combining it with AI. Okay, so that is about this article. Fine. Next. UN takes measures. United Nations takes measures to fight climate change. So now they are trying to fight against climate change. So United Nations have come up with a key step to fill gap fight against climate change, which is standardized real-time tracking for greenhouse gases. So now they are planning up with certain technologies where they will be having satellite as well as above air. They will try to monitor where the greenhouse gases are being emitted. What are the places actually are emitting this and what is the level of impact? That means how much gases are being emitted from certain places. To identify that, to monitor that, they have been setting up a particular technology here. So what is this about? So the UN who is actually dealing with is United Nations World Meteorological Department Organization, WMO. So WMO organization has come up with a new global greenhouse greenhouse gas monitoring infrastructure that aims to provide better ways of measuring planet warming pollution and keep helping inform policy choices. So why do we actually need this? If you know from which places the impact on climate is more, especially in the greenhouse gas mechanism, what are the areas or what are the infrastructure that is causing more harm to the climate, that is when you know on which places you need to perform policy. Now we have started with green credit mechanism we have seen. So now they are having this green credit mechanism which is going to be developed by July, where they can trade their pollution, right? So we have seen that credits, do you remember or not? So that credits can be traded. Now these kind of policies, when it will be coming, when you know what is the exact impact and where the pollution is high. So for that they have created this particular mechanism. So observing systems will be space, integrated space or surface based observing systems. So that is about that article, nothing much. Okay, as part of our environment concerns. Fine. Rest all sports news. Yes. Multilateral reforms as a priority in the G20. How we are going, how we are moving. So this article is generalized article, not so important, but what they have mentioned, a few points we will discuss. First of all, what is multilateralism? all countries, now we are in G20, so all the other countries which are involved into this G20, they have to come up with a common note. They have to work with a common goal. So to make different countries, ma'am, I was facing difficulty in understanding the Hindu paper due to vocabulary used in the paper. Can you give advice? Any advice to me, please? Sripura Yashwant. I would sincerely suggest you to watch the video and then you can go for your paper reading. That is why I told you download from that portal so that you can understand by when I am teaching the class. Before the class itself, so this particular articles will be uploaded around 7 or 7:30 for you. So before 7 or 7:30, these articles will be uploaded in channel. So class will start at 9. So just go through the article and then you come back to the class. So then wherever the terminologies that you are missing up, you can post me in the channel. Directly in the chat box, if you are asking me, I can help you with that. No problem. Let it be more interactive. I really like that. Okay. I hope that helps you, Ashwant. Fine. So the T20 task force towards reformed multilateralism aims to construct a roadmap for multilateralism 2.0 at G20. So now what we are trying to work is that we have a balanced relationship with western and eastern part of the countries. Now it's high time for us, being in a G20 presidentialship, we need to work upon coordination. So we need to have a proper platform with Russia, China and also with the western other topmost countries. Like why I am mentioning only these countries are that they are now hugely in demand. Like these are the countries which are actually in tussle with each other. So we need to bring a proper platform and we need to work on a proper goal-based scenario. So that is what India has told, that with assuming this G20, we will focus, our agenda is to be inclusive. So first thing is inclusive growth and inclusive. That is why before starting this G20, we had an internal summit. South Indian Summit, South Asian Summit, where different countries which are not part of G20, we have invited to our country, we had a meeting and we have discussed about what can be the possible things that we can discuss in G20. So we are in a pre-planned scenario here, so that is inclusive, including everyone in the world, globally. Next, ambitious. We should have an ambitious target. We have a 2030, yes, okay, sure. So we have a 2030 ambitious target of all sustainable development goals, SDGs, yet we have lot to go to 2030, but still the goal is ambitious, right? Like no poverty, then you have gender equality, different again environmental goals, all these things we have. So this kind of ambitious targets will be again setting up, especially through climate change or gender, anything. Next, action oriented and decisive. So here we are going to work action oriented. Definitely we'll be deciding on what we have to do. Instead of blabbering, we will be deciding. Next, decisive, yes, again the same thing. We will decide on what to do and we will proceed in the same way. So yeah, that is being mentioned. And our T20 task force aim towards reformed multilateralism, TF7, important. So these themes are important. So yeah, aims to construct a roadmap of multilateralism 2.0 or 2.0. Why is this actually important? Because why multilateralism important? Before that, let me go to the gist and then let me come back. Most of the challenges nations face today are global in nature, require global solutions. For example, let's say climatic conditions are, now the carbon emissions from western countries are more. Aren't we suffering? Aren't we affecting? So we have this El Nino or La Nina. So is it only India why this is causing? No, right? It's a global scenario which is affecting. Now we have heat wave here, we have cold wave here. Why are we suffering? Is it because of contributions of only India? No, right? So this climatic impacts is a global phenomena. Let's say international security. Is it only the contribution of India or only America? All the other countries are responsible. So what are the issues that we are facing in the international arena? It isn't restricted to only one particular country. It is dealing with a global phenomenon. Let's say cryptocurrency. Is it restricted to only our country? That is why Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has already mentioned that we will come up with a proper plan where globally we will have a system that will track all these cryptocurrencies. We will have a proper regularized administration for this, governance for this. She has called for that in G20 meeting too. We have seen that in current affair part. Fine. So here, pressing up the global issues such as conflicts, climate change, migration, macroeconomic instability, cyber security. See, all these are issues. Cryptocurrency, cyber security, all, one of the part, cyber space. So yeah, cryptocurrency, Macroeconomic instability, suppose, now we are talking about yesterday also, RBI ex-chief has mentioned that India would go to Hindu rate of growth. There is a probability that it will be going to Hindu rate of growth, which is having a marcation of 4% GDP growth. So, this instability, why are we getting? Lack of investments, at the same time global recession phenomena. So, now macroeconomic instability is an issue which is again we have to address globally, climatic change which I have already told, and conflicts. All these things we have mentioned. So, yeah, for that we need to work on together. To fix the malaise of the multilateralism, malaise, issues, ill treatment, whatever it is, issues of multilateralism, G20 needs devise multiple solutions. Of course, single body solution, single particular country solution is not sufficing. We need to consider inclusive thing. That is why we have mentioned inclusive. So, currently the multilateralism reform narrative lives only in elite circles and some nation capitals, particularly the emerging powers. Therefore, G20 should focus upon setting up a proper narratives for multilateralism reforms. So, instead of focusing on US, China, Japan, India or any other, Russia, say on focusing especially on leaving the focus on only these topmost countries, we have to focus on all other things. Why I have mentioned India in this category? Because in G20 now we are presidentialship, else we will not even consider India in this particular list. Okay, so it should be a global phenomena, they say. So completely I told you this article speaks, and here one thing that they have mentioned is why should or why this multilateralism is actually important. Same points which I have mentioned again you have here. So first thing, majorities trust because of persistent deadlocks. So even in the UNSC summit, if you can see UNGA, we have seen that people are against Russia because of the war and they are forcing India. So there is a deadlock, right? Now India is abstaining and people from Russia, like Russia and Western countries like USA, they are not in the same lines. So there is a pure deadlock. China, deadlock. Growing footprint, issue. So second issue, utility crisis, where the powerful members no longer useful to them. So exactly, when I am talking about the same example, let's say Russia. From Russia, leaving India's perspective, what is it benefiting other countries? The global crude oil crisis. So crude oil amount is inflating, right, every day. So because of this only one of the impacts for recession. So now this utility crisis is there. So there is existence of crude oil, but still are we able to use it? No. So utility crisis where the topmost member countries are being no use now. So that is again another issue where you can address with multilateralism, where you have a common goals with everyone. Next, deglobalization, then populist nationalism, pandemic and climate emergencies added to the hardships. So all these things again added to the hardship. That is why we need a common goal. So all these points are mentioned. So theoretically we can just go through this. So that is why they have mentioned that even in the areas of climate change, migration, which I have already told, global scenarios where we have to work together. So that is what they have mentioned in this article. Yes, good morning Neo. Fine. So yeah, you can just go through this article, nothing more than that is mentioned. How to fix the malaise and all, they are focusing completely on national capitals or multiple solutions driven, which I have already mentioned in your gist part. I have already given the gist. So just go through this article, that will be enough. Okay, fine. That's all. Nothing more than that. Yes. So that's it for today. Ma'am, is it necessary to make notes about current affairs? Ramchandra, I think that not necessarily required, but the points which poses you, like example about G20, so definitely these areas will be in your exam, right? Such areas you can just research, and whatever we are mentioning, that you can discuss about. I mean, that you can have a short note. Not all articles are required for your note making. That will be a time waste. Okay. So listen the class, whatever the points that you feel that yes, these points I need to understand or I need to revisit again. Such points you can note it down and analyze it with correlation with your UPSC syllabus. That would help actually. Okay. That's it. Thank you for the session. Good day.